everybody, it's Jenny. I'm on my diet journey. I'm really not in a good mood today, so I'm trying to use an extra positive voice. Make up for it. All right, so let me get refocused. I was teaching my classes this morning, and my son walked into the room and said, I overslept. So as soon as I finished my last class, I had to take him to the high school. Missed the bus. There we go. What can you do? He's pretty good about it, I would say. I think he missed the bus, overslept once last year in his freshman year. This is his sophomore year, and this is the first time. We're in March, so he's done pretty good. All right. Let's start with numbers. The scale said 162.4. That is a loss of 0.1. Oh, but it's still a loss, so I'm going to look at that. It wasn't a stall. It wasn't a gain. It was a loss. So I'm happy about that. Now, if I start day one after loading, I lost 3.6, 1.3, 3, 2.1, 1.1. So the loss of 0.1 should not shock me at all. And as I mentioned yesterday, my girlfriend gave me a call, said she had this egg casserole that she made and that I should come over and we should have brunch together and visit because we haven't seen each other in a few months. This is a friend I get together with more frequently than I do some other friends. We're better about it. Not as frequently as, anyway, it doesn't matter. You don't care. So like maybe twice a year we get together. And we always say we're going to do it like every month, but that's how life goes. So it was wonderful to visit and get together with her. And then we did get to talk a lot about HCG because she's the one that introduced me to this whole diet and the whole concept of it. And I mentioned yesterday that I was worried about the bottle coming because usually it takes about 2 weeks from the time you order it until you actually receive it. But I think it's been about a week since I ordered it. And it arrived yesterday. I literally got the email yesterday saying it was shipped. And then I get the notification later in the day that it had been delivered and it's in my mailbox. So I don't understand their whole shipping process and their updates and everything. And I can't find a way on their portal to track it. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's here. So I got to get her a bottle of it because she said that we were talking about it and laughing and just saying why is it the only diet? Why is it that we do so much better on HCG? And we were debating, is it possible that it's just an appetite suppressant and that it's all psychological and then we just restrict the food that we eat, but because of the appetite suppressant, we don't eat more. Is that possible that it really doesn't work? And I don't know. We kept going round and round like, oh, there must be something to it. And I'm like, well, there is a lot of science behind this protocol. But at the same time, that was the 60s. And, you learn more as you go. But then we're still doing HCG. But then the reality is this isn't like a pure 100% hormone we're taking. It's a synthetic compilation. So kind of mimicking the hormone. And your body reacts as if you have the hormone and indicates that it does, but it's not the pure hormone you're receiving. I mean, some people do, but not many. I mean, those who spend hundreds of dollars on their stuff, not those who spend $25 to $40 on a bottle for a whole round. So anyway, we had a lot of fun just kind of like picking it apart and trying to figure it out. And I found information that I was going to talk about today with you, and it kind of goes in hand again with the stalls that we've talked about for the last 3 days. And again, it was information I hadn't ever read before or heard people say. So I cut and pasted it and sent it to my friend in an email today too and said, I find this very interesting. I'm not 100% sure I buy into all of it. But maybe I do. I just don't know. I don't know. But nevertheless, it's very interesting and also oddly encouraging. So I'm going to read that to you today from the protocol. All right. What did I eat yesterday? I had, it was probably about this big piece of egg casserole, 2 of them. Yeah. I just thought, what the heck? And there were potatoes in it, she told me. But she didn't. She had a savory and a sweet casserole, and we didn't bring the sweet casserole out at all. She was very kind. I said, you can eat whatever you want to eat in front of me. I have no problem with it because I live with a son who is addicted to carbs and a husband addicted to sweets. And so our house is full of everything I cannot eat. Not that I don't, anyway. I could have been fine eating this delicious egg casserole, and she could have had a piece of fruit. And then she even brought out some cut up fruit, and she said, now you don't want fruit. And I said, no, you can have it. Please have it. I said, it doesn't even tempt me because fruit's not one of the things that, I would rather eat a can of corn than a piece of fruit. If I'm going to have some sort of carb or sugar, I would rather definitely eat a can of corn or a can of baked beans than a piece of fruit. I would. So, okay. But she didn't, bless her heart. She probably ate before I got there. She asked me if she should. I said, you don't have to. No, I'm not going to be tempted. You can have whatever you want, but she didn't. So I hope she ate before I got there. All right. So the 2 pieces of egg casserole I had. And then later in the day, and of course that was early because I got there at 11. We ate right away. Later in the day, like 6, I had 2 sausage links. So all in all, I thought it was a pretty good day. I was happy with those results. So minus 0.1 wasn't thrilling. But then again, like I said, there were potatoes mixed in. And it's mostly vegetables and then egg, but still. Again, seriously, I'm kind of doing I was telling her also about HCG 2.0 and how really it's HCG, but just not as strict. And so this fit into it. Now, the potatoes didn't, but the fact of mixing the different vegetables did, and probably eating more eggs than you're supposed to because you're really supposed to eat, I think, 1 egg to 3 egg whites. 1 egg plus 3 egg whites equals 1 protein serving. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. You can go back and look at my videos to see. And this, I'm sure, was just all eggs. So, again, do as I say, not as I do. Or make your own decisions. Just do whatever you want to do. But, this is what I'm tracking. Okay, so let's pull up Dr. Simeon's protocol here. And the paragraph that I'm going to talk about today is called dietary errors. All right, so again, we're kind of talking about stalls here. So he's explaining kind of after the other stalls and the explanation of why it's a stall and what's happening in your body. And we talked in the previous videos, there were overall fluctuation in weight from losing a lot of weight and how that creates a stall and why. Holding on to water if you don't want to watch the video. Other plateaus that happen from hitting a level that your body has been used to being at for over a decade and then not wanting to get past it. I think the other one was just kind of explaining menstruation. There was one more. I can't remember. Okay, so now we're going to talk about dietary errors. Basically, you screwing up is what they mean by dietary errors. Sounds so much better to say, I had a dietary error this week as opposed to, I cheated. All right, so let me read this to you about reasons for possible stalls on the HCG diet. Okay, here we go. Any interruption in their normal weight, which does not perfectly fit into one of those categories, is those, meaning the ones I just mentioned before, is always due to some possibly very minor dietary error. Similarly, any gain of more than 100 grams is invariably the result of some transgression or mistake, unless it happens on or about the day of ovulation or during the 3 days preceding the onset of menstruation, in which case it is ignored. In all other cases, the reason for the gain must be established at once. Serious. Okay. The patient who frankly admits that he has stepped out of his regimen when told that something has gone wrong is no problem. He is always surprised at being found out because unless he has seen this himself, he will not believe that a salted almond, a couple of potato chips, a glass of tomato juice, or an extra orange will bring about a definite increase in his weight on the following day. Okay, I'm going to step back for a second. So this is not just talking about stalls, but actual weight gain. All right, and why all of a sudden you're going to see a gain on the scale. And Dr. Simeons basically says for the person who comes out and admits, I screwed up, I had this, I shouldn't have, then they do fine and they get back on. It's more of a struggle for the person who's in denial. And he points out that the smallest little alteration from this diet, I have like alterations almost every day, can and will affect your overall progress. Now, we talked before in another video about the strict regimen of like the vegetables and the fruits that are approved. And he specifically said there are other fruits and vegetables that are lower in caloric content than these, but these are the ones that work on the diet. The ones that are even lower aren't working. The ones that obviously are higher aren't working. Like he found the perfect medium on this diet. Now, what I would do to actually see the diet results, which I don't think are in this protocol, I didn't see it, but I want to see the literal results because I'm that kind of person. I want to see what was the sample size and over how many different studies did he do and men versus women and this fruit versus this fruit, how many people ate an orange as opposed to an apple, like all that stuff I want to see because I don't want to draw generalizations from a sample size of 5. 5 people had an apple, 5 people had an orange, 5 people had a banana, 5 people had, and then they all did the HCG diet, and the apple people did better. So therefore, you can only have an apple on a diet. Do you see what I'm saying? So without having the raw data, it bugs me a little bit to say you can only have an apple on this diet. And indeed, HCG 2.0 has more flexibility. As opposed to other berries and other citrus fruits and other things that you can have on the diet, including other vegetables and other proteins as well. All right, so let me go back, continue reading. We're halfway done. All right, he's referring to, there's a he in the first sentence, and the he is referring to the person who just had a salted almond or a couple potato chips or something the day before. All right. I do find this interesting as I continue to read on. I was like, oh, okay. Very often, he wants to know why extra food weighing 1 ounce should increase his weight by 6 ounces. We explain this in the following way. Under the influence of HCG, blood is saturated with food, and the blood volume has adapted itself so that it can only just accommodate the 500 calories which come in from the intestinal tract in the course of a day. Any additional income, however, little as this may be, cannot be accommodated, and the blood is therefore forced to increase its volume sufficiently to hold the extra food, which it can only do in a very diluted form. I don't 100% understand the diluted form part, but I also never was a biology major, so I apologize. All right, let's go on. Thus, it is not the weight of what is eaten that plays the determining role, but rather the amount of water which the body must retain to accommodate this food. Okay, let me step back for a second. I never thought that the amount of weight you take in is the amount of weight you gain. I never did because there are lower calorie, more dense foods and high calorie. I mean, you could have popcorn and with, buttered popcorn or cheese popcorn or something that's very light. A bag of caramel corn doesn't weigh much. Certainly a bag of cheese popcorn, which is my favorite, weighs nothing. It's like air. There's those little puffs, like cheese puffs in that, like horrible food that is lots of calories and lots of fat and processed and not good for your body in any case whatsoever. Weighs nothing. All right. And then you take out a piece of fish and it's pretty substantial. And there's like zero fat, very low calories, 90 calories, zero fat, and it's has weight to it. Okay. So I never thought that. But I do find it interesting that your body increases in the amount of water it retains based on the amount of food that you have. So there's a water issue going on here too, a water retention issue. Okay, here we go. This can be illustrated by mentioning the case of salt. In order to hold 1 teaspoon of salt, the body requires 1 liter of water, as it cannot accommodate salt in any higher concentration. Thus, if a person eats 1 teaspoon of salt, his weight will go up by more than 2 pounds as soon as the salt is absorbed from his intestine. Light bulb moment. I like to have a little more meaty, it's not the raw data, but at least it's more information other than eat salt, you gain weight. An actual number really, really helps me. Your body, if it takes in a teaspoon of salt, I said teaspoon, or did I say tablespoon? Teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of salt is your body to absorb and all that will have 2 pounds more, or a liter of water. A liter of water it will maintain to kind of do that absorption and get it going through your body. Wow. Not immediately, because it does it after it's absorbed from the intestine. So you have to eat it, it has to go through your stomach, you have to digest, it has to get into your intestines, and then from your intestines, it goes out into your body, into your bloodstream. At that point, when it detects how much salt it has, let's hold on to all this water to accommodate for this extra salt. Interesting, isn't it? Okay. One little part left. I haven't come across, there were some typos in this, and maybe they're in this last little part. Okay. To this explanation, many patients reply, well, if I put on that much every time I eat a little extra, how can I hold my weight after the treatment? It must therefore be made clear that this only happens as long as they are under HCG. When treatment is over, just found the typo. When treatment is over, the blood is no longer saturated and can easily accommodate extra food without having to increase its volume. Here again, the professional reader will be aware that this interpretation is a simplification of an extremely intricate physiological process which actually accounts for the phenomenon. Okay, so basically saying this is a very, very, very simplified, dumbed down version of what is happening in the body. We know our bodies are extremely complex and amazingly created. And we will probably, for decades to come, continue to learn how the body works. Centuries, probably. That's how complex our body is. All right, what we know about the brain, so little. Okay. We continue to learn. So he's basically saying this is an HCG phenomena that's happening. That if you are going to increase beyond this 500 calories, and if you are going to take an extra salt than needed, your body is going to hang on to a lot of extra water. I just like that because it, again, as the other ones did, really reinforces the fact that this is water retention. This is water retention. I couldn't understand last time I was on the round. I cheated. I had a chicken. I went out to dinner or brunch, sort of, with my father. A chicken roll. It was like lettuce and chicken and vegetables inside a tortilla, a flour tortilla. Horrible. So I ate that for the lunch. I couldn't find anything I enjoyed on the menu that didn't have carbs in it. So I thought, well, at least everything inside of it was pretty good. That being said, it also had barbecue sauce in there, so that would have been high. It was probably not the smartest choice now in hindsight. So funny. Would have been a very healthy choice on a normal day of my life, not on HCG. So, okay, I ate it. It took me a week to get back out of there was like a sharp spike, then a little bit down, then kind of up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It was, I think, 6 days before I started seeing a loss again. And I kept thinking, what a waste that was. But then later on in the diet, I had like 4 or 5 days where I had losses like I just had these past 4 or 5 days, which, again, come off of loading. So these are more inflated. But to have them later on in the diet, to go like 4 days with like a pound loss every day or close to it is pretty great on HCG. So, this explains all that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, I'm going to stop right there. The next pair, I haven't read ahead to the next ones, but there are 2 paragraphs, which maybe I'll put together tomorrow. One on salt and reducing, which I found, I don't know if that's reducing salt or just reducing your weight. So we'll see. There's not much written on it, so we'll see. And then the next one is on water. And again, I don't know if this is water retention or how much water you should drink, but nevertheless, I'm interested in jumping into it and seeing it. I'll be talking about that tomorrow and reading to you directly from the protocol so that you know exactly what it is that he's saying, and then you can make an informed decision yourself as to what you think you need to do on this diet, what works for you, what doesn't. So far, I've lost weight every single day, so I'm happy about that. We'll see what day 7 brings tomorrow, and my intentions are to be good today. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow is my day that I'm getting together with my girlfriends, which one girlfriend had to back out of, but the other one and I were still getting together because she had to reschedule like 3 times. I had to reschedule once, and we just decided the 2 of us are still going to get together because we haven't seen like a decade. And then we're going to meet again with the other friend. The other friend is a nurse, so it was her schedule. She got called to work. Yeah, it is what it is. So she doesn't have control out of that. So it may be 2 meals with friends in there. Not ideal, I know. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to drink tomorrow. I don't even need to be talking about this today because that's tomorrow's issue. But the point being, it's very important for me to be very good today. So that is my goal, to be very good today. I'm going to be a good girl. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hope you found this information. I hope you found this informational and helpful. If you did, let me know. Make a comment. I always appreciate those. And definitely subscribe and hit the little bell as well. Talk to you soon. Bye.